Something is about to change in Heartland. Not slowly, not quietly, but in a way that could rewrite everything we thought we understood. For years, this story has been built on trust, healing, and the idea that no matter how difficult life becomes, the ranch always finds its balance again. But now, that balance feels fragile. The season 20 finale trailer doesn't just hint at drama, it hints at truth. The kind of truth that doesn't stay contained, the kind that spreads, connects, and forces every character to face something they have been avoiding for far too long. And the most unsettling part is this. It feels like this was never sudden. It feels like everything has been leading to this exact moment. Heartland Season 20 has carried a very different emotional tone from the very beginning, even if it wasn't immediately obvious. On the surface, the story continued with its familiar rhythm of ranch life, relationships, and personal growth. But underneath that calm structure, something deeper has been quietly building. The finale trailer brings that hidden layer into focus, revealing that this season was never just about moving forward. It was about everything that was left unresolved finally finding its way back. What makes this shift so powerful is how subtle it has been. There were no loud warnings, no dramatic signals that something major was coming. Instead, the tension has been growing in small, almost unnoticeable ways. Conversations that felt slightly incomplete. Moments of silence that lasted just a little longer than usual. Decisions that didn't feel entirely certain. At first, these details seemed like natural parts of the storytelling. But now, looking at the trailer, it becomes clear that they were all pieces of something much bigger. At the center of this emotional buildup is Amy. Her journey has always been the heart of Heartland, shaped by loss, resilience, and the ability to heal not just horses, but people around her. Over the years, viewers have seen her face pain, rebuild her life, and slowly find stability again. But Season 20 changes the way we see that stability. It suggests that healing is not always a final destination. Sometimes it is just a pause before deeper truths begin to surface. The trailer hints that Amy is starting to feel this shift, even if she doesn't fully understand it yet. There is a quiet unease in her presence, a sense that something is not entirely settled. It is not fear, and it is not confusion. It is something more internal, like a realization that hasn't fully formed yet. In Heartland, these kinds of emotional signals are never random. They usually mean that a character is about to face something that will change their perspective in a lasting way. At the same time, the memory of Ty continues to exist as more than just part of the past. His absence has always been a defining element in Amy's story, but Season 20 treats that absence differently. It no longer feels like something she is simply learning to live with. Instead, it feels active, almost present, in the emotional choices she makes. The trailer suggests that this connection to the past may play a much bigger role in what is about to happen. But Amy is not the only one affected by this growing tension. The entire Heartland family seems to be experiencing a subtle but noticeable shift. The ranch, which has always represented stability and continuity, now feels like it is holding on to something unspoken. There is a weight in the atmosphere, a sense that the past is no longer staying where it belongs. It is slowly moving forward, becoming part of the present in ways that cannot be ignored. One of the most striking elements of the finale trailer is how it uses silence. There are moments where nothing is said, but everything is felt. These pauses are not empty. They are filled with meaning, with hesitation, with emotions that the characters are not ready to express yet. This creates a different kind of suspense. It is not based on action or sudden twists. It is based on anticipation, on the feeling that something important is about to be revealed, even if we don't know exactly what it is. Another important layer in this season is the idea that not all truths are simple. The trailer strongly suggests that the secrets coming to light are not isolated incidents. They are connected. One revelation may lead to another, creating a chain reaction that affects multiple relationships at once. This is what raises the stakes. Because in Heartland, relationships are everything. When truth begins to move through those relationships, it doesn't just change situations. It changes trust, understanding, and emotional direction. There is also a growing sense that different characters are starting to see things in different ways. Some seem to hold on to the idea of keeping things as they are, protecting the stability that has always defined the ranch. Others appear more willing to face change, even if it brings discomfort. This quiet difference in perspective adds another layer of tension. It creates the possibility that when the truth finally comes out, not everyone will respond in the same way. What makes the season 20 finale feel so important is that it doesn't present itself as just another ending. It feels like a turning point. The trailer makes it clear that whatever is about to be revealed will not stay limited to one storyline or one character. It will spread across the entire narrative, connecting past decisions with present consequences. And perhaps the most powerful element of all is what the trailer chooses not to show. The biggest secrets are not revealed directly. They are only hinted at, suggested through emotion, tone, and reaction. This creates a sense of mystery that feels deeper than any direct explanation. Because in Heartland, the most impactful moments are not just about what happens, they are about how those moments are experienced. As the story moves closer to its finale, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. This season has been carefully building towards something that will redefine the emotional foundation of the series. Every small moment, every quiet pause, every unresolved feeling has been leading here. The question is no longer whether something will change. The question is how much of Heartland will still feel the same once the truth finally comes to light. As Heartland Season 20 moves closer to its finale, the emotional tension begins to shift from something subtle into something that feels impossible to ignore. What once stayed beneath the surface is now slowly rising, not in sudden dramatic bursts, but in quiet, steady waves that affect every character in different ways. The finale trailer makes it clear that this is no longer just about individual struggles. It is about a shared emotional weight that has been building across the entire story. One of the most powerful aspects of this stage is how the idea of truth is evolving. Earlier in the season, truth felt distant, almost hidden behind everyday life at the ranch. It existed in small hints, in unfinished conversations, and in moments that didn't fully resolve. But now, truth feels closer. It feels present. It is no longer something waiting in the background. It is something that is beginning to push forward, demanding attention. Amy continues to stand at the center of this shift, but her role feels more complex than before. She is not just reacting to events around her. She is beginning to sense that something deeper is changing, even if she cannot fully define it. There is a growing awareness in her actions, a quiet hesitation that suggests she is starting to question things she once accepted without doubt. This internal change is subtle, but it carries significant weight. Because in Heartland, when Amy begins to question something, it often leads to a much larger emotional revelation. The trailer suggests that Amy may soon face a moment of realization that connects her past and present in a way she did not expect. It is not presented as a dramatic shock. Instead, it feels like a gradual understanding, something that builds slowly until it becomes impossible to ignore. This kind of storytelling is what makes Heartland unique. It does not rely on sudden twists. It allows emotions to develop naturally, making the impact feel more real and lasting. At the same time, the relationships around her are beginning to reflect this growing tension. Conversations between characters feel more careful, as if everyone is choosing their words with greater attention. There is a sense that people are holding back, not because they have nothing to say, but because they are unsure of how their words might change everything. This hesitation creates a quiet distance between characters, even in moments where they are physically close. What makes this especially interesting is that the tension does not come from conflict alone. It comes from uncertainty. The characters are not openly arguing or confronting each other. Instead, they are navigating emotions that are not fully understood yet. This creates a different kind of suspense, one that feels more psychological than dramatic. It keeps the audience engaged not through action, but through anticipation. Another important element introduced in the trailer is the idea that the past is no longer staying in the past. Memories, decisions, and emotions that were once considered resolved are beginning to return in unexpected ways. This does not happen all at once. It happens in fragments. A memory here, a realization there, a conversation that suddenly carries more meaning than it did before. These moments begin to connect, forming a larger picture that slowly becomes clearer. This return of the past adds a layer of inevitability to the story. It creates the feeling that what is happening now was always meant to happen, that every choice made in previous seasons has been leading to this point, even if the characters were not aware of it at the time. This sense of connection between past and present makes the upcoming revelations feel more powerful because they are not random. They are earned. The ranch itself continues to play a symbolic role in all of this. It is no longer just a setting. It feels like a reflection of everything the characters are going through. The same place that once represented comfort and stability now carries a quiet tension. It holds memories, both good and difficult, and those memories seem to be influencing the present in ways that are becoming harder to ignore. There is also a noticeable shift in how different characters respond to this growing pressure. Some appear to become more introspective, taking time to process their emotions before acting. Others seem more restless, as if they are searching for answers, but are not sure where to find them. This difference in responses creates a layered dynamic, where each character's journey feels personal, yet connected to the larger story. The concept of secrets becomes even more complex in this stage. It is no longer just about hidden information. It is about emotional truth. The things characters feel but do not say. The decisions they regret but never fully acknowledge. The fears they carry but choose to hide. These emotional secrets are just as powerful as any major revelation because they shape how characters interact with each other. The trailer strongly suggests that these layers of truth are beginning to overlap. One realization may lead to another, creating a chain reaction that affects multiple relationships at once. This is where the tension truly begins to rise, because when truths are connected, they cannot be contained. They spread, influencing everything around them. Another key detail is how silence continues to play an important role. There are moments where characters pause, where conversations stop just before something important is said. These pauses feel intentional. They create space for the audience to feel the weight of what is not being expressed. In many ways, these silent moments are more powerful than dialogue because they allow the emotions to speak for themselves. As the finale approaches, there is a growing sense that time is becoming a factor. Not in a rushed way, but in a meaningful one. It feels like the characters are running out of opportunities to avoid the truth, that whatever is coming cannot be delayed much longer. This adds a subtle urgency to the story, even if it is not openly stated. What makes this part of the season so compelling is that it does not provide answers. Instead, it deepens the questions. It encourages the audience to think about what might be coming, to connect the pieces, and to feel the tension building with each passing moment. And by the time this stage reaches its peak, one thing becomes clear. The truth is no longer something that can stay hidden. It is already finding its way to the surface. And when it fully arrives, it will not just reveal secrets. It will change everything. As Heartland Season 20 moves deeper into its final stretch, the emotional tension reaches a point where it no longer feels distant or uncertain. It begins to take shape. What was once hidden beneath layers of silence and hesitation now starts to reveal itself through reactions, expressions, and choices that carry more weight than ever before. The finale trailer suggests that this is the stage where understanding begins, but not in a complete or comfortable way. It is the kind of understanding that raises even bigger questions. One of the most striking changes at this point is how awareness spreads among the characters. Earlier, the tension felt personal, something each individual was dealing with in their own way. But now, it feels shared. There is a quiet recognition that something is changing, even if no one is fully ready to say it out loud. This shared awareness creates a different kind of connection between the characters, one that is built not on certainty, but on the feeling that they are all standing on the edge of something important. Amy's journey becomes even more layered in this stage. She is no longer just sensing that something is wrong. She is beginning to understand that the emotions she has been experiencing are connected to something deeper. The trailer hints at moments where she seems closer to clarity, as if she is starting to see patterns in things that once felt random. But with that clarity comes a new kind of struggle, because understanding does not always bring comfort. Sometimes it brings the realization that things cannot go back to the way they were. There is a noticeable shift in how Amy interacts with the people around her. Her conversations feel more intentional, more careful, as if she is trying to navigate emotions that are becoming harder to ignore. At times, it feels like she is holding back, not because she wants to hide the truth, but because she is still processing it herself. This internal conflict adds depth to her character, making her journey feel more real and more relatable. At the same time, the influence of the past becomes stronger than ever. Memories are no longer just reflections. They begin to feel like active forces shaping the present. The trailer suggests that certain moments from earlier seasons may take on new meaning, as if the story is asking both the characters and the audience to look at them differently. This recontextualization adds a powerful layer to the narrative, turning familiar events into pieces of a larger emotional puzzle. The relationships within the Heartland family continue to evolve under this pressure. Trust, which has always been a central theme, begins to feel more fragile. Not because it is broken, but because it is being tested in new ways. Characters start to question not only each other, but also themselves. They begin to reflect on their own choices, their own assumptions, and the ways in which they may have misunderstood certain situations. What makes this especially compelling is that these shifts are not driven by conflict alone. They are driven by realization. It is not about one character confronting another in a dramatic way. It is about characters coming to terms with truths that have been quietly building over time. This creates a more emotional and introspective form of tension, one that feels deeper and more lasting. The idea of secrets becomes even more layered in this stage. It is no longer just about what is hidden, it is about why it was hidden, and what it means now that it is starting to come to light. Some secrets may have been kept to protect others, some may have been the result of fear or uncertainty, and some may not have been fully understood, even by the people who carried them. This complexity adds depth to the story, making each revelation feel meaningful rather than shocking. The trailer also hints at moments where different truths begin to intersect. One character's realization may connect with another character's past decision. One piece of information may change the way multiple relationships are understood. This interconnectedness creates a sense of momentum, as if the story is moving toward a point where everything will come together. Another important element at this stage is the emotional pacing. The story does not rush toward its revelations. Instead, it allows them to unfold gradually. This slow progression builds anticipation, giving each moment time to settle before moving to the next. It creates a rhythm that feels natural, even as the tension continues to rise. Silence once again plays a powerful role. But now, it feels different. Earlier in the season, silence represented uncertainty. Now it feels like preparation. Characters pause not because they do not know what to say, but because they understand the weight of what they are about to say. These moments create a sense of gravity, making each conversation feel important. There is also a growing sense that choices are becoming more significant. Small decisions begin to carry larger consequences. Actions that once seemed routine now feel meaningful, as if they are contributing to something bigger. This shift reinforces the idea that the story is moving toward a moment where everything will matter. As this stage unfolds, the emotional atmosphere becomes more intense, but not in an overwhelming way. It remains grounded, focused on character and connection rather than spectacle. This is what gives Heartland its unique strength. It builds drama through emotion, allowing the audience to feel every step of the journey. By the time this section reaches its peak, one thing becomes undeniable. The truth is no longer hidden behind silence. It is taking shape, becoming clearer with every moment. And as that clarity grows, so does the realization that what is about to be revealed will not just answer questions.